Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or go back to sleep, depending on where you are. Welcome to a new edition of Genre Talk. I'm here with Nicki J. Markus, as always, and just in case any of you are new to the stream, we will do a little introduction and then we'll get into today's topic, which is holiday-themed books. So, Nicki, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all again. Welcome to the new people. My name's Nicki, and I'm an author and editor, and you'll find me here on YouTube talking about writing, editing, reading, and all the general fangirlish things that I love. Over to Alina.
And I especially like it when you cross over between the things you love, because that's always nice. I'm Alina. This is my channel. If you're new here, I post videos on books and writing for the most part. I sometimes fangirl about other things as well, but not so much lately because I haven't posted enough lately. That's why. We both write genre fiction for the most part. Well, entirely genre fiction. I'm saying for the most part because if people watch this in the future and something happened and
we might have written a literary fiction masterpiece for like Romania or Australia or anything. Yeah.
I want this to be accurate, you know. But yeah, I don't see that happening unless it happens by mistake. Certainly not intentionally in my case. But yeah. We're talking holiday books, and I think this is a theme where we both read and wrote them quite a bit.
Yep, I think so.
Of course, we'll talk about Christmas and New Year's for the most part, but we're going to include everything else here, including Valentine's Day, and everything else. Any particular book release that you're looking forward to this Christmas?
I don't think so particularly. I've got quite a lot of books coming because as well as being Christmas, December's my birthday month. So that always means I get a huge ton of new books because everyone knows that that's what I like. So I generally just get a ton of books gifted from everyone. So I'm kind of, I've almost cleared my TBR pile. I've got 2 from NetGallery left to go in preparation. So I'm expecting, 30 odd, probably new books soon. So I shall see what I get for those. But I don't think there's any particular December releases as such that I'm looking ahead to. I'm already reading stuff on NetGalley that's not coming out until like May next year and things like that. I think like December's just gone. So there's plenty coming up to read, but I wouldn't say any particular titles at the moment for me, and not holiday themed ones particularly. I mean, I think I tend to read holiday themed ones a lot more if I'm reading them as a review for someone. Often authors I know, like if we've all got holiday stories out, we'll do a little swap and review each other's stories and things like that. But no one's had any they wanted me to look at this year, so I've had a quiet holiday themed year this year.
Yeah, I think you spoke too soon.
I'm getting some.
Hi, Claire. See, Claire has a book coming out this December, apparently December 31st. It's not a Christmas book. It's a mystery, or maybe there's Christmas in there. I don't know. You never know it, Claire. You might get a Christmas book in March. Well, no, a New Year's book in March. Let's not be mean. But yeah, hi, Claire.
Just stop watching in a minute. Don't listen, Claire.
Oh no, we always make fun about her New Year's book that came out on the last day of February. It's fine. And I always say, no, it was March. By the time I got it, it was March because you live in the future. And yeah, I do have book releases this December. Like I mean, apart from one book, everything coming out from now on, it's sort of a holiday book. Unintentionally, because I have a Christmas novella coming out on December 12th, and then a New Year's novella on the 28th, and then a Valentine's one at the end of January. And all these are in the same series.
Right.
But at least the first book is not a holiday book, and that comes out first in December.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've one personal release that came out yesterday, but I'll tell you about that when we get to the end.
Oh, I did not know that. Why did I not know that?
I haven't done a huge amount of promo on this one. It's part of the Dream Spinner Advent Calendar, but when we get to the end of our talk, we do our little wind up on what's new with us. I will tell you all about it then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I also brought a book with me, which is not mine. When we talk about covers.
Right. I mean, interestingly, I actually think about Christmas or holiday themed stories, particularly Christmas themed stories, more in terms of childhood reading. Like, I can't remember the title of this book, but I used to have one. It was something like The Jolly Postman. And as a kid, I used to adore this book. And it was a really lovely hardcover book. And the postman was delivering all the Christmas mail. And there were lots of little like inserts, and you could pull out the letters, and you had the little letters to read and things. And I think of a lot of Christmas type books as the stuff I read in childhood, then like Night Before Christmas and all those. And when I think about them more as adults, I mean, I know that people do a lot of MF ones as well, but I tend to see a great deal of it in LGBT, particularly gay romance.
Yeah.
Because of course, like as I just mentioned, the Dream Spinner one I'm in this year, Dream Spinner do their Advent calendar every year. So that's one book a day all the way through December.
Yeah.
All to do with a theme, a holiday theme. So this year was holidays in like warm climates, essentially. So I do tend to see it, I tend to think about it as being a major LGBT thing as well, to do these holiday themes, not exclusively. But
I used to think that, but then I realized it's a big thing in mysteries too. I mean, Claire's been part of one.
Yeah. You're dead, or with UL, U or YULE. I saw one, you'll be dead or something, spelt like Yule. I saw one the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Claire and all the authors from the mystery dedicated group. I mean, they did an anthology, and they were raising money for an animal rescue place. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it was called Sleigh Bells and Sleuthing, I think.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's super cute. And Claire had a story in there that was Christmas themed and pretty freaking awesome. I mean, the murder weapon was like a string of Christmas lights, which I thought was fantastic. It just happened that it came out in November, and I'd already written the story about it for well before December. But I mean, I find it really interesting in mysteries because they have these weird twists on Christmas, and it's all murderous and bloody.
So for the anti-Christmas team.
And I've read another one that was kind of Christmas themed, also in November, which was also Claire's. Because I postponed her last series for a long time. The series, not her last series, the series that I hadn't read because I knew she wouldn't have books for a while. So it just happened that I read Sledhead at the end of November, and that's all about the main character being sent to kill Santa. It's a very weird, creepy take on Santa. It's a child eating Santa, so okay, it's fine. But it was interesting, and then I saw a lot of books that are mysteries and that they're Christmas and holiday themed, which I think it's big for them too. I think it's a thing in MF romance too, but neither of us read it much these days.
No.
And that's why.
Yeah, you just don't notice it as much because we're not looking for it. Yeah.
But I did start to notice it now that I look for it. But yeah, it's super big in gay romance. I think everyone I know has a Christmas review. I try to do one every year. Well, starting last year. but I'm always late with them because last year too, I think I released it on December 16th. This year it will be December 12th. So sort of okay. But most people release them really early, like early or late November at the latest.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I've seen. And it makes sense in a way.
Yeah, give people time to find them and have them ready to read for Christmas. Yeah,
it's the smart thing to do if you're not behind with everything. which I am. But yeah, you're right. I feel that other than mystery, gay romance, and MF romance, well, LGBTQ romance, let's say, because there are others who do it as well. I don't see it as a big thing anywhere else.
No, I mean, sometimes there's some comedy stuff. I read one not too long ago called The Winter Riddle. I'm just going to look up because I cannot recall the name of the author.
Claire mentioned cozies. Okay, cool. Claire mentioned cozies, but I kind of include them in the mystery overall genre. So cozies.
The Winter Riddle. Yeah, The Winter Riddle by Sam Hooker is one I read recently, and that's quite fun. And the premise is that there's a winter witch, and basically she just likes to live on her own, and she doesn't want anything to do with anyone. But then all these people keep calling on her, and she has to make an alliance with Santa to save the world from these like other terrible forces that are taking up arms and that. And so it's kind of like a weird blend of a bit of mythology with Santa Claus with a lot of humor. But that one's, I think it's fairly couple of years old now probably, but I only came across it this year, but that was quite good fun. So yeah, there's that kind of side of things as well, where there's a little bit of a comic take on Christmas. But as you say, it does tend to be a bit more either full on romance or, as you said, the mysteries and the cozies and things. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I think for any other genres, they usually come up with anthologies mostly, but
yes.
I enjoy them. I like them a lot. I don't know why. To be fair, I don't mind if I read them at any other time than Christmas, especially if they're Christmas books. It's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah, they're probably sort of books I don't necessarily go around seeking out, but if I come across them, I usually enjoy them if I pick one up from a fellow author or something. They're cute. They're good little sweet stories usually, and but it's probably not something that I'd go around like putting on my book depository wish list or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean it depends. If it's in a series I already like or from an author I like, I would. But I mean I don't have a book depository list because I don't do hard copy. I prefer. That's why I only have this one, which is by Teodora Kostova, and I got this with. Oh my God! Don't do stupid things, Alina. I got this with the entire series that this is part of.
Right.
But I have a ton of them on my Kindle, obviously, because I like them, I enjoy them, and I get them all the time. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's December. Everybody's going to release holiday-themed books, which is great. But yeah, I do tend to stick with authors or series I'm already familiar with and enjoy.
Yeah.
If there are good deals on Christmas books, I'm going to buy them because,
Yes. And I'm actually, if I'm looking on NetGalley and things, because obviously a lot of people also post them on NetGalley as we come through sort of October, November. And I did read one a couple of months ago that was a Regency one, and that probably appeals to me more. That was like a Regency romance for MF. I'd probably, if it wasn't an author I knew, I'd be probably more inclined towards a historical holiday one than a contemporary one. Definitely for MF anyway. Maybe not so much for gay romance, but if I'm tempted by an MF, it's more likely to be a historical than contemporary.
I think for me it was the moment I started enjoying Christmas again, I started enjoying Christmas stories as well. Because I mean, until about 2 or 3 years ago, I couldn't even be bothered to decorate, and now I can't wait. I mean, it's December 2nd, and I'm trying really hard to just wait until I decorate everything, because I know I won't be removing them until the end of February, because hey, it's cold, it works.
Oh, see, I'm quite 12th night superstitious, so
Okay.
we don't put, because I have a December birthday, we don't put our decorations up. We never have in my family until after my birthday. I'm always allowed like to have my birthday first. So I never really put Christmas decorations up until about a week before Christmas, which I know is pretty late compared to people. But there's a bit of a superstition in England, at least, that it's unlucky to have your decorations up after 12th night, so 6th of January. So I've always also taken them down like within then. So we only really have them up for 2 weeks, like in my house. But I'm sure we'll come back. So I had a few notes that at the end of our chat today, we were going to talk about some traditions in our different parts of the world. So we'll talk a bit more about that then.
Sure.
But one thing I do probably do more than books with Christmas is Christmas films.
Oh yeah, I consume a lot.
I do enjoy it. I have my little Christmas films. I mean, who doesn't enjoy the Muppets Christmas Carol? My sister starts watching that in October in the excitement build up for Christmas. That can't be too early. You can never watch that too early, according to her. But I think one of my favorite Christmas films is actually The Holiday. Have you seen that one with Jude Law and Kate Winslet?
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it in the middle of summer as it happens.
Yeah, I'm not
it's a nice movie.
I'm not a huge rom-com watcher, but there are odd ones that I just love, and that's one of them. I can just watch that one again and again, and I adore Jude Law anyway. So,
I love Love Actually. I think that's
yes,
awesome.
That's a good one too. Yeah,
like the best of the holiday series Hollywood did. Yes. Like Love Actually is the best. Well, I don't think it was a Hollywood production, or was it? I'm not even sure.
I can't remember on that one. Was it an English one? Because there's lots of English actors in it.
Yes, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, it doesn't always say. I'm going to find out for you, Alina.
I mean, The Great Wall was a Hollywood production, but it was specifically made for China, so it's fine. Yeah.
I'll see what I can find out on the.
It might be that it was a British movie, and then everyone copied it. But there's a lot of American things going on there.
I mean, it's set in London as well, isn't it? So, the director was from New Zealand. We're learning all sorts of fun. We're learning all sorts of fun things today, people, on our live stream. Nothing really to do with genre. I can't actually find out at the moment. I'm just trying to find some details about who was actually involved in the production side of things. It's the official site is Universal United States.
Okay, so it's a universal.
But the principal release date they've got is the UK. So who knows? Who knows really? It could be either. A bit of both, probably.
But anyway, everything that followed after it wasn't as great, like Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve.
No, and the music one. No.
Yeah. I mean, I still watched them once, but I couldn't rewatch them as many times as I've rewatched Love Actually, for example.
Yeah.
And I find that with Christmas movies, around Christmas, I get as mushy and as cheesy as it can get. Like, I don't mind watching the Hallmark style movies. I really don't mind. I enjoy them to death. I mean, I watched The Princess Switch on Netflix recently, so shameful. I know. I don't mind that they're cheesy and that the most action those characters get before the proposal is that they kiss once, which I think is so stupid. We've kissed twice and we've known each other.
Get married.
I'm going to propose to you. And in The Princess Switch, I think at least the guy proposed immediately, but he proposed for a wedding next Christmas. So they'd have a year to change their minds, I guess. They didn't because they showed the wedding. I mean, it makes total sense that everything is a Christmas miracle and whatever. I mean, I watched one. I think it was Netflix as well, about a dog park that was about to be destroyed.
Okay.
Build a spa, and some girl who didn't even like dogs and was only dog walking for a week helps an up-and-coming vet to save the park, whatever. It was so mushy and cheesy and annoying, but I still loved it because Christmas movies. Jesus Christ. If you make me watch movies like that are not Christmas themed, I won't. I give up on them like 10 minutes in. But if it's Christmas, sure.
Oh, another Christmassy book I read recently. I was just, it's come back to me because we're talking about TV, and I'm thinking, what's always on at Christmas on TV? The Nutcracker Ballet, isn't it? So,
oh yeah.
And I was thinking about the Nutcracker, and I did read a retelling of the Nutcracker. I think that was last month. It was called The Enchanted Sonata by Heather Dixon Woolwork, I think. Hopefully, I'm remembering that right. But it was quite weird in some ways because it was a YA retelling of the Nutcracker, but with a blended Pied Piper of Hamelin storyline.
Oh yeah, you talked about that one
time.
in your
yes, yeah, it was last month, wasn't it? Yeah, and that was quite interesting. So if you like the Nutcracker, anyone, that's worth having a look at because I thought it was quite sweet. It was quite nicely done. There's a bit of romance. It was almost sort of a YA fantasy that blended the Nutcracker and Pied Piper stories. So worth having a look at.
It's fine because I just realized when I put together the soundtrack for my videos this month, I can go all crazy with the Christmas songs. Yay!
And are you a traditionalist with the Christmas songs, or do you like a bit of everything from across the years?
I'm not a traditionalist. I have certain carols and certain songs that I associate with Christmas that I love. But I don't know. I'm a bit eclectic there. Anything from Old Lang Syne to George Michael. It's fine.
Yeah, I'd say I'm probably similar. I mean, although I'm not Christian, I do love a lot of the carols, but that's because I grew up singing them in school choirs.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you did all the vocal parts, and I was in several school choirs, and so that music's so familiar from that I enjoyed singing them. Then I like obviously the Wham and all those kind of ones. But I think the best Christmas song ever is Fairy Tale of New York.
Do I know that one? I'm not sure.
Do you know that one? It's the one with all the swearing in. You scumbag, you maggot.
Oh no! How don't I know that? It will probably become my favorite song. It's fine.
Oh, I will have to find. I will find you a link after the stream, Alina, and send it to you because if you don't know it, you must hear this song. It's completely balmy. It's really got nothing to do with Christmas. It's about these two people that are in jail together, like at Christmas.
Yeah.
and they're both blaming each other.
And speaking of movies, the staple of Christmas in Romania is that at least one station is going to play all the Home Alone movies. And I celebrated earlier this week by watching all the Cinema Sins videos on everything wrong with the Home Alone movies, which I think is awesome. Like Cinema Sins is my newest addiction. Like, I don't even care that they bash movies I love. They're so funny. So funny. Absolutely great. And they did a really good job with the Home Alone movies. Because I was like, yeah, you're so right, but I'm probably going to watch them again this year.
Yeah.
It's a struggle to get away from them around Christmas in Romania, and it's been like that for years and years and years. And they're kind of fun. I mean,
usually get played my way as well. Yeah, and I don't know, in the UK, Sound of Music has also become a Christmas movie, and the Sound of Music is always put on TV at Christmas. I've no idea why. It's not a Christmas theme piece at all, but it's always on.
I'm not sure when they play it here. I know they play it occasionally, but I'm not sure if it is at Christmas. Might be. I don't know. Oh, and there was a Schwarzenegger Christmas movie with some toy he wanted to get for his son. That was fun too.
Oh yes.
I can't remember the name. It's fine.
But I do know the one you mean. Yes.
Yeah, because that's what you need for Christmas. Big fight and action, which I'm happy with. It's fine. It's great. Yeah. We went about things we love. Let's go through the tropes we love and those we hate, because we kind of went out of order with this discussion.
Yeah, we did a bit. I don't think with the holiday themed books, I don't think there is anything in particular that I hate. I think with holiday themed stories, I expect it to be a sweet romance most of the time. I expect it to be sort of short, sweet, holiday themed.
Yeah, but I like the angsty ones as well.
I've not really. I don't think I've ever really come across a huge number of them. All the ones that I seem to come across are more sort of sweet little stories. But
I mean, my Christmas romance is not exactly the most feel-good one ever, because it's a sort of a second chance romance.
Okay.
The one from last year and the one from this year. Well, this is actually too. It's fine. Alina writes angsty things and like her characters, but it's romance, so it's not like you get a tragic ending.
Yeah.
It's romance. But yeah, I mean, I didn't go like full angst, but I did that before. I mean, it's not. No one tries to kill themselves in battle like Shiki did in the Werewolf book. It's fine. Claire, I don't know when you posted the jingle all the way. It works great with my thought on angsty stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. If there's something I don't particularly like, is when, I mean, it's not that I don't like it, I just don't go for it necessarily. It's where there are miraculous things happening, like truly miraculous things, like interventions from angels and whatever.
Real fantasy miracle things. Yeah.
I mean, when it's in contemporaries, it annoys me. If it's a fantasy thing, I mean, it's a fantasy thing, it's fine. But when you get the touch of Miracle of Christmas, oh, that's the name of the movie. Okay, thank you, Claire.
So we didn't even recognize it when we just saw it.
Yeah, I know.
We were just going, oh, yeah, okay, Claire, yeah.
I mean, you can show me like 30 seconds of the movie and I'll know it's that movie, but the title, nah, it's fine. So I don't particularly enjoy that. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think I've particularly come across too many that do that, but
I didn't. So that's why it's not something I deliberately dislike. It's just when I came across it once or twice, I was like, I could have lived without this. Definitely.
Yeah, a pleasing coincidence is fine, but not when it goes a bit too far. Yeah,
no, I totally get that. So, yeah, we kind of covered movies and TV. I mean, we could talk about TV because we didn't talk about this, but I think every TV show has a holiday special. All the
sitcoms
and I particularly always enjoyed the supernatural Halloween episodes. Those are the best ever. They're always so weird and different and fun.
And Buffy always used to have the sort of Halloween-y themed one around that time. There's a sort of Halloween one, certainly in the earlier series anyway. I'm sort of thinking the first 3 series or so, there was a Halloween, like an episode set on Halloween. And every time Giles would say, it's Halloween, the evil monsters don't come out on Halloween. And every single time something would end up happening. Usually Ethan Rain or someone would like pop in. So I do kind of think about those. But yeah, I mean, I know in the UK, all our comedy shows used to have Christmas specials. All the sort of talk show kind of things as well. And often it's the time when all the big series finales go up as well. Like if it's a reality show, like, Strictly Come Dancing or something like that. And of course, Doctor Who always famously does its Christmas episode.
Yeah, I feel like the Christmas episode is the staple. You can get some New Year Eve plot lines, but they're not as big. And then you get the huge Valentine rush.
Yes.
Which makes sense. And I think for books in particular, the Valentine rush is the hugest in romance.
Yes, definitely.
Like, that's where I think there's no comparison. There are Valentine's Day themed books elsewhere. I know I've seen some, but I mean, romance takes the prize there.
Absolutely.
And again, those. I mean, you expect them around the holiday, but they usually come out weeks or a month ahead for normal people. But from experience, I'd like to say that it doesn't hurt to have it like a week or two before the holiday.
Yeah.
It still works, especially for Christmas. Christmas and New Year's, those work like around that time. You don't have to let a lot of time between the release and the actual holiday.
Yeah.
Halloween and Valentine's Day, I think those are a bit more difficult to sell post-holiday. Because, I mean, New Year's books do well in January, for example, from what I've seen. But you wouldn't necessarily have a lot of Valentine's books read in March.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm currently using the killer shouty app that tracks my progress because this is work. So, yay! Otherwise, it screams at me and lowers my rank, and I really don't like that because I feel like I fail. Okay. So we've discussed what we like and what we don't like, and it's mostly we like them. Oh, yeah, no. I did not talk about this for Valentine's, but I think it's the only one where there's an anti-holiday trend.
Yes.
Like anti-Valentine plot lines or people who hate Valentine's Day are a bit more often used than people who hate Christmas, for example. I think it's because there are a lot more people who hate Valentine's Day than people who hate Christmas. Because what's to hate about Christmas? I mean, even if you don't buy into the whole religious aspect of it, which I never do, you still like the light and the fact you get presents.
And presents, yes.
And all the Christmas food, like, oh my God, that's delicious. But when it comes to Valentine's, I think because it can be such an I want to say alienating, but yeah, maybe that. It makes you feel lonelier than usual. If you're alone on Valentine's Day and everyone is paired up and you see hearts everywhere, it can be annoying. So I think that's a good genre trope to follow. It can be quite successful.
And another ones or another sort of series that I think seem to be gaining popularity are the sort of National Day ones, like the St. Patrick's Day. You start to see a few more of those. I don't remember ever having seen any before, but in the last few years, I do start to see a few pop up around those holidays as well.
Yeah, they're trying to branch out into more holidays. And I was thinking of incorporating more local holidays, but because Romania is so tiny, it might not always go that great. I was thinking of in the future when I'm more established, do something for St. Andrew's Night, which is like a sort of a Halloween-y thing here in Romania. Only creepier, I'd say. Way creepier. Because how do we celebrate the saint that supposedly made us Christian in ancient times? We celebrate all the pagan stuff around him because that makes sense. It's on November 30th. So the last day of November, first day of December. And in that night, a lot of strange things happen. Apparently, people can understand animals. But there was something about wolves talking and wolves being dangerous. I don't know. It's weird. The local strigoi running havoc, which strigoi are not vampires, by the way, closer to werewolves or, undead of sorts, but not vampires. And they respond to garlic. So there's the one time where garlic is recommended in Romanian folklore. You hang out garlic to keep the nasties away on St. Andrew's night, which is pretty awesome. And I liked like more obscure holidays being promoted, but you need something else to promote the book. You can't just go, oh, this is a holiday book and people will buy it, because first of all, it will be out at an unusual date. And it kind of needs an explanation. So it has to be heavy on other tropes or very well linked with other genres for you to get some visibility, which it's cool. I mean, you can still have something original in the holiday theme genre and, subgenre. And, bring something new to readers, which is great, but it won't be enough to sell a book. I mean, you can say this is a Christmas romance and people who love Christmas romances will know what to expect.
Yes, yeah.
It's a different marketing strategy and branding strategy and cover strategy, because, I mean, if you go with Christmas or New Year's, you either go with this frosty sort of a look, or you go with Christmas carols and Christmas decorations and things like that, or winter wonderlands, which is great. Or a mix of some of those elements. And for Valentine's Day, I don't think it's as standard.
No, I see just a lot of more just contemporary romance looking covers and like a little heart featured, or or
it's more a title thing because they have Valentine somewhere in there, or not. I mean, for Sunrise Video, I didn't have Valentine's Day included anywhere than the description and categories, which worked okay. But that was like a third book in a series, so it had to make sense outside of Valentine's too. I had Be My Anti-Valentine as a title, so that went well. That was a popular story. But yeah, they tend to be more on the contemporary romance style of cover, or mystery if it's a mystery.
Yeah.
Where at Christmas you can just tell it's a Christmas book or a winter themed holiday book by looking at the cover. That's the most distinctive one, I think. Because again, for Halloween, they kind of look like paranormal, urban fantasy-ish, magical. But Christmas has its own rules for covers and things, and it's always fun. I don't know why I find it so fun, because I mean, if I could just teleport myself to Christmas and New Year's and then skip everything that's in between winter, I'd be fine. But when you see like a nice holiday cottage or a cabin in the woods surrounded by snow, it's so idyllic and nice, and all you can think is, oh, fireplace, yay. And then you go outside and the spell is broken. It's fine. Not that you'd know you're in Australia, your winters are a sham.
I know, and it's so wrong. And perhaps that's a bit of a leading. We were going to talk briefly about some of our traditions, because obviously for people that don't know me, haven't met me before on here, I was born in the UK. I lived there till my mid-20s. I've only been in Australia about 10 years now, 10, 11 years. And so I'm used to a traditional European cold Christmas. And it's a big sit-down, huge meal on Christmas Day, open the presents in the morning, and then just like basically stuff yourself silly for the entire day, watch TV. And that's Christmas, with all the traditional roast and crackers and things like that. And then I moved to Australia, where they still sing Christmas carols, and we sing Dashing Through the Snow when it's 40 degrees Celsius. And it just doesn't work. And it is a completely different vibe.
Sorry to interrupt you. That was the first English carol I ever learned in school. I think it was in 2nd grade or 3rd grade. Yep. So I was around 8 years old. So yeah, sorry, go on.
So it doesn't feel like Christmas to me here. And I've been back and had a UK Christmas twice since coming over here. And both times I've gone back, it's felt like Christmas again. And I think some of the problem is it's still obviously light here at 8 o'clock or gone in the evening, being summer. So the Christmas lights don't really show up much at all until the middle of the night when you're all asleep. Whereas in England, it's dark by 4 o'clock or something. And as you're walking around all the shops, all the lights are lit, and it's cold, and you go in and it feels all warm and snuggly with all the decorations. It's just a completely different vibe. I mean, they put all decorations up in our mall here, but I just kind of walk past them and barely notice them when it's like a 35-degree day and I just want to get to the shops, get my stuff and get home. And it just doesn't feel right. And of course, we can't really sit down and have a huge roast that you have to cook in the oven for 3 hours when it's that sort of temperature.
Super hot. Yeah.
So it tends to be a barbecue. So like this year we're hosting at our house. So we've got my husband's parents and brothers coming. So they'll bring the in-laws will bring some meat, sausages. He makes his own sausages, my father-in-law. The boys will go out, do that on the barbie, come back in, and there'll just be salad and a sort of buffet style meal that we'll just nibble at during the day. And seafood's quite popular over here. There's a lot of prawns and things like that at Christmas, which we just wouldn't eat in England at Christmas. So it's a very, very weird thing. And going to the beach, and like the beach is a big thing, particularly sort of Boxing Day or just after Christmas. Some people do go and have Christmas Day on the beach, or they go out to a park, because a lot of our parks have free barbecue facilities and things like that. So people, take their group to the park and do the barbie, and they just spend the Christmas Day in the park or on the beach. Similar idea. So it's completely different feel, and it just doesn't feel like Christmas to me. I don't really feel any excitement build up, and I mean some of it's getting older, as well. It's not quite the same as it when you're a child, but I don't kind of feel that excitement. And even putting up the tree, if we weren't hosting this year, I don't think I'd even bother to put up the Christmas tree, I have to say. And then we suddenly found out we were hosting, and I was like, I've got to get the tree out. Horror. No, it's just like, it just doesn't feel like I should be putting a tree up,
I would like to experience that at least once. I mean, I think I'd be really happy. Or if it were my choice, I'd just be here for exactly Christmas. And if I got my way, I'd have snow on Christmas Day. And then I just fuck off somewhere warm, like for New Year's. And New Year's on the beach sounds incredible. And not come back until spring. That would be great. Like I need to sell more
you have
books.
to come visit.
Definitely I need to freaking sell more books, because getting anywhere near hot climates, unless I'm going to somewhere like Tenerife or Malta, is kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Different continents and things like that. But I would enjoy that at least once or twice, I think, because I hate the cold. Right. Yeah. The perfect winter for me is arriving home, having Christmas, and maybe going in the mountains a bit to experience real snow, and then get out of here until spring. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need it.
And my parents have said they'd like to come over 1 year. They're sort of a bit hamstrung at the moment because my nan's not very well, so they can't do any long trips. So they haven't been able to visit us here for a little while, but they would like to come and do Christmas at some point just to see.
Yeah, just to see how it is. It's so exciting when you've never experienced it like that. By the way, do you do Christmas in July?
It is a little bit of a thing here, yes. I mean, I don't personally do it, but you do see stuff going on around Australia for that, because obviously there are a lot of expats here, and a lot of people used to celebrating Christmas in the cold weather. So yeah, you do see stuff going on. There's usually a few events around, and some people do host a roast dinner kind of thing then instead. Yeah.
Because the only thing I've seen is Christmas in July promotions for books.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen. And I was curious about that. But should we do a roundup of Christmas releases that we've already had before? I mean, we'll do the promo at the end, but
yeah, we can
talk a bit about our experiences. I mean, Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's, and things like that. Okay, you go first.
Okay, I haven't really done any particular Valentine's releases. I did one Halloween one, which was 2 years ago now, I think. which was called The House Guest. And that was a story of a guy who moves into a flat and discovers there's another occupant already in place, without saying too much more. Creature from Russian folklore.
Oh, nice.
And most of the ones I've done, though, have been Christmas stories. Particularly, they've been in response to calls from publishers. So, and I've done 3 of the Dream Spinner Press Advent Calendar collections now. So, Barbies and Beaches I'll talk about in a minute, the new one. But previously, I did Santa for Hire. And interestingly, what you were saying about the anti-Christmas, and you don't see that quite as much, that particular year, the theme for the Advent Calendar was someone who's a bit of a Grinch about Christmas.
Yeah, I remember that one.
In my story, the guy was a manager in a shopping centre, or in a sort of department store, and he had a bad breakup one Christmas, so now he hates the holidays. And then a guy comes in to replace Santa after the usual Santa's ill, and decides to change that and get a bit of romance and Christmas joy back into this guy's life. And previously to that, I did for Dream Spinner Northern Lights, which was about a couple who have gone to Reykjavik for Christmas, only to break up. And then the guy ends up finding love under the Northern Lights in the end with someone else.
That's awesome.
And then also for 9 Star Press, I did 2. That was last year. One was a Christmas one of Printers and Presents, which was about an office secret Santa romance. And the other one was Old Acquaintance, which was a New Year's Eve second chance kind of story about these 2 guys who didn't get together in their school days, but meet up again as adults.
I've read that.
Those are mine, and I'll tell you the new one in a minute, but I'll let Alina share hers.
Okay, so I've never done a Halloween one because I could never get my releases sorted. I always thought I'd do a new paranormal something around Halloween and never did. Like, never. No. Because reasons. This year, I mean, it was out of the question with my broken leg and everything, but in years past, I had releases, but no, nothing for Halloween. And I didn't do any sort of a seasonal story until last year. And last year, I started with a Christmas book, which was An Exodog in Winter Wonderlands, which had some Christmas, people getting snowed in. One of the characters lived in an actual winter wonderland because he lives in a mountain resort in Romania. And then the next year for Valentine's Day, I had 2 releases. I had Be My Anti-Valentine, which was a short story, and it was my my sort of newsletter magnet. Around the time, I was in this huge promo with a lot of authors, and everyone had free Valentine stories. But that was just a week, and then I switched to it being paid. And I also had my release Sunrise with You in the same month, which was also Valentine's themed. And Be My Anti-Valentine was quite appealing to a lot of people because it had this character who wants to just get away from Valentine's. He has an anti-Valentine weekend planned with his brother. They're supposed to play games all weekend. And then the brother ditches him because he made up with his girlfriend. And he goes on the Valentine's trip without even telling his brother. So that was a nice premise. Sunrise with You was, like I said, the third in the story, and people who were into that story appreciated it, but because it wasn't, I mean, it had Valentine's Day things happening, but because it wasn't just that, I think it kind of appealed to a different audience, but I loved the whole idea, so that's why this year I'm doing more holiday themed releases, because, I mean, if you can pull it off, if you're already releasing at that time, and you can work in the holidays, why not? First of all, they make for great family dynamics, especially if you need it to be angsty.
Yeah,
It's the best time of the year for families to go insane and have fights and fallouts. It's great. Plus, you know, it makes it more relatable in a way because everybody has that Christmas
Yeah.
holiday that they just don't want to remember because their families were dicks. Like, it happens to the best of us. Or they all had a New Year's Eve where they had no freaking plans for anything, and all they wanted to do was stay in, and then somehow they got dragged out of their warm, cozy home to attend some party. That also happens. So, and with Valentine's, whichever way you go, people will relate to it. If it's the anti-Valentine trend or the totally into it, super mushy one, it will work anyway. But yeah, I do find, like you said, that most holiday themed stories tend to be on the sweeter side, and I tried that. I think Be My Anti-Valentine was the closest I could get to it, because it's a short story and I probably didn't have enough time to make it super angsty. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't. I mean, like, I can't make it too sweet. The one time I did it, people were like, was this really you? I mean, are you sure? This really isn't your style. No kidding. Thanks. So yeah, I'm trying to stay true to my style, even if I think people enjoy a sweeter sort of thing around holidays. Yeah. So probably next year, if the mystery series do well, I'll have Christmas mysteries, not romances. I can go as dark as I want. Oh God. I'm so nice. I'm so nice. I promise I'm nice. I'm not a mean person. I'm just mean to my characters because I love them.
It only hurts because you love them, Alina.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, do you alter the type of stories you tell around the holidays, or do you just stay true to your own style? And
I think mostly I'd stick with my style, but I would tend to push slightly more into sweet romance, I think, for Christmas stories than, I mean, I've written sweeter style romances for other books too, but particularly for those, I do tend to keep, because they're quite short as well, I do tend to keep them just sort of these short, sweet ones. There tends to be a lot less sexual content. I'm trying to think. I think there's only been one or two where I've had a bit of a sex scene in them. Most of them a lot cleaner in some ways, if you want to call it that, than some of my novels.
To be fair, that's easier to do with short stories. And I should say, other than Be My Anti-Valentine, which was an actual short story, the rest were on the longer side. An Extra Dog and Winter Wonderland was a long novella. And Sunrise with You was also a novella. So I think the content kind of depends on length as well.
Yes.
And the style of the series, because if the series is not sweet, you can't just put in a holiday story very different from the overall style of the series.
Yeah. And I think with the shorts as well, because a lot of them are just standalone short stories, and you're not coming in from characters, you don't really have time to develop that relationship that far, because it's often they're meeting for the first time or they're meeting again after a gap. So you've only got a short time, which is probably why they end up being a bit sweeter as well, because they don't just jump into bed with each other like on page 2. They've only just met. So yeah, that pretty keeps them sweeter style as well.
Yeah, I think it's more of a focus on the meet cute part of the romance, which makes total sense for a short story. Yeah, I totally get that. Makes perfect sense to me. But yeah, again, when it's a longer release, it's kind of a difference. And I think we haven't touched on this before, but the way you tell a story depends on the genre, true, but it also depends on length. Because there are very different things you can do with a short story and a novella and a novel, and that's when they're standalones. When you work in series, things get very, very different, which is why even if you only write one genre or one subgenre, let's say, it can still give you a lot of creative freedom, because there are so many things you can do within a pretty small niche, let's say. Which I always find fascinating. Then again, I'm not the best example because I'm not known to stick to one genre. It's fine. I still find ways to work in more genres into what I'm writing. So no, I'm not a good example for that. But I thought it was worth mentioning because we didn't touch upon it as much. But it's the same with every medium, I feel, because you can do one thing with a movie and a very different thing with a series, which makes perfect sense. Or a TV movie versus a movie.
Yeah.
That was, oh my God, I'm so good with my words. TV movie versus movie. I'm amazing.
We all knew what you meant.
Yeah, in short. Well, I'm on coffee number 2, people. It doesn't get any better than that. It's fine. Okay, shall we move into traditions a bit for Christmas? Because it's right around the corner. Or did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't particularly have a huge number. I mean, I'm Alina will tell you that I am super, super organized to the point of OCD. What I was doing before I came onto this stream was starting a new scarf that I'm crocheting as a Christmas gift for next year.
Oh, great.
I have actually, once I finish this scarf, I've only got one more left to make. And then I have made Christmas gifts for next year for all of my family and my husband's family already. Wow. So I'm always super organized with Christmas, and especially now that I live here. Especially now I live here and I have to send packages back to my family in England. I have to think about things well ahead. So for me, Christmas prep's done in the middle of the year. It's like my Christmas in July, I suppose, Alina. And so I don't have a huge amount to do. Obviously, this year we're hosting, and I always do some Christmas baking. I do like to bake a few cakes and sweeties and things like that at Christmas. So that's probably my only major tradition of things that is, to me, is a Christmas thing. Is I get my bake on, as it were. I think I'm making about 4 different things this year. So that'll start a couple of days before Christmas, work on those. But yeah, I'm not really a sort of major tradition person. When I was a kid, more obviously, hanging up the stockings for Santa Claus and putting out the mince pie and things like that. But as an adult, I don't think I really particularly have anything that I do. What about yourself?
Well, we never had the Christmas stockings here. We just had a tree and gifts that went under the tree.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I grew up for the first 7 years of my life under communism, and Santa Claus, or our version of it, which it would be Old Christmas, or Old Man Christmas, however you want to refer to the character, was replaced with Old Man Icy something, I don't know, Frosty. Let's say Frosty. Let's say they replaced Christmas with Frosty. Because communism, they kept the red attire because communism, but you weren't supposed to say Christmas because they were kind of anti-religion, especially in the last bit of Ceausescu's reign of terror. They were demolishing churches everywhere. So, I mean, we had freedom of religion in the Constitution, don't get me wrong, but that meant nothing. We still did the Christmas tree, not so much on the carol side, that came in later. But then I always liked the scent of the Christmas tree, and the scent that I associate more with Christmas is actually orange.
Yes.
Because we could only get orange and banana. We could only get that type of fruit around Christmas. You couldn't find them in the rest of the year at all. And even at Christmas, it was very difficult to get them. There were a lot of queues and things like that. So I never particularly liked bananas as a kid. But oranges, oh my freaking God, like that was Christmas for me. And the Romanian version of panettone,
Yes.
which is like a, let's say, sweet bread with lots of nuts and cocoa in it. It looks like a bread when you bake it, but it's sweet. It's a different kind of dough. And maybe a bit of mulled wine. But
yes.
that I learned to appreciate later in life. I can immediately recognize the scent of it, but it wasn't a big thing until later on. But oranges, like if I smell oranges, or if I don't have oranges around Christmas, that's a failed Christmas for me. It's like
hashtag Christmas fail.
Yeah, and like I said, for a long time, I just didn't care about Christmas a lot. It was a rockier period of my life. So in recent years, I started getting into the whole thing again. I'm not particularly fond of Christmas carols around here and people who come caroling because it's usually annoying. They start really early. They start weeks before Christmas, and then on the New Year's we have a goat thing that happens. Someone dressed as a goat, and there are a lot of drums, and it's so loud and annoying. So loud and annoying. Like, I don't like it. There's a lot of whipping around New Year's Eve. They have whips and drums and the stupid goat. There used to be a tradition of bringing out a bear.
Right.
Around New Year's. That's obviously not happening anymore. Thankfully for the bears, it's great that it's not happening anymore. But yeah, that was a thing, and I think they let the bear like step on people's back, and that was supposed to help with back pain.
Okay.
It wasn't a particularly large bear, obviously, because nobody's back
just always crushed people. It's like, well, the back's not a problem anymore.
Yeah. No, it was usually a cub, and a fairly small one, and that. But yeah, it's nice, and I mean, we do get the Santa thing on the 24th, but we also get Christmas presents in our boots on the night for St. Nicholas, so that's 5th to 6th of December. Because St. Nicholas and Santa Claus are two different things in Romania. Yay! Which is not particularly bad, but you usually get some sweets and maybe fruit for St. Nicholas, whereas for Christmas you get a bigger, more consistent present.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I guess one thing I notice here that's different as well is in England, and perhaps that's why I don't seem to care about the tree quite so much here. In England, we had a real tree, like you're talking about the pine scent earlier and things. And that was part of the thing. You went to the place and got your real tree that you had in the house. Whereas here, it would just 40-degree heat, it would just die. So most people have just plastic trees here. I think there are some people who use real ones, but it's more common to use fake ones here.
I went for a small plastic tree because I wanted to fit in my room. So I have one here, and my mom had a small one for her room, which is great. The thing is that I do not go for the real tree because it just dies. And the ones you can find in a pot, you can only have them for one Christmas, and then you have to plant them somewhere or they die. So that's just not totally not worth it for me. I know my father, for example, has a tree outside, like a real huge tree outside, and that's fun. But for indoors, I mean, I like the scent, but not enough to kill a tree for it. And if there's some noise from outside, I'm sorry. There's vacuuming going on somewhere. Hope the camera doesn't pick it up. And yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I think the reason why people usually took the tree out kind of close after the New Year's Eve, we do have it on the night of New Year's Eve. We always have that. But the reason they took it out so close after that was that the tree would die. Like all the all the little leaves would fall and it would be a disaster. And it was also the reason why they waited until a day or two before Christmas to set it up.
Yeah.
First of all, because prices would drop closer to Christmas, obviously. And second of all, because you have a very limited time span.
Yeah.
And even if it's cold outside, it's pretty warm inside, so it wouldn't last very long. But other than that, we don't have any superstitions about when we're supposed to take it down. People might look strangely at you if you still have Christmas lights on in February. I don't particularly care. My rule is if it's winter-like outside, if it looks like winter, the tree can stay and the lights can stay. But this year, I got like a small set. I can't reach it. I got a small set of fairy lights that are just gold, which I can use throughout the year because I wanted that. So those I'll probably set up and never take down. And yes, I'm going to completely change the way my room is before Christmas. Because I mean, I've had this set up for like 6 months. It's really enough.
I was about to say another move around.
Yeah, it's the third since. the third different setup since I've renovated this room. So I probably have a problem.
You just gotta find the perfect one that feels right.
Yeah, and then I'll change it again in 6 months. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. But yeah, I wish I could have worked in a sort of a small studio just for art stuff, but that's not possible because I still need my computer for most of it for references and stuff. But yeah, that's the thing with Christmas. We do eat a lot. There's a lot of pork in there.
I think that's pretty universal. Yeah. Although I eat a lot less now. I used to be so stuffed because we used to have that huge meal at lunchtime, like in England, middle of the day, and then you'd eat all the leftovers from that in the evening. But here, because it is a buffet and it's a bit more just picking and nibbling, I do tend to eat a lot less since I moved here at Christmas than I used to. And when my husband came over, he's had one Christmas in England with me, and he was so full, he looked like he was about to pass out or something after the Christmas meal. Because you have a lot of food in England compared to here.
You have to train yourself for a proper Christmas meal. And I mean, in other countries, they have turkey and things that are not as heavy, let's say. We're all pork for Christmas. Like, that's traditional everything. You get pork sausages and pork steak and sarmai, which is pork minced meat, and pork skin for starter, which, by the way, that's delicious. It's fine. I don't have a problem with pork skin. I mean, I can do without everything else. For the pork skin, don't take my pork skin away. By the way, to get it from the stores, a kilogram of pork skin is a way more expensive than pork meat, even the best you can get from a pork, because we usually keep that on the slices of the pieces of ham that we make. And Romanian ham is very fat compared to everything I've seen. So it's like 80% fat and maybe a little meat and the pork skin on top. And it's usually smoked. You can get it non-smoked, but the smoked one is apparently the best one. So yeah. And that's also, I mean, you can't have Christmas without some ham, the start of the meal. No. But yeah, my favorite food to eat around Christmas time, actually it's more of a New Year dish, is the beef salad, which has like mayo and a lot of veggies and pieces of beef in it. And it's nicely decorated. Decorating like the beef salad, it's an art of its own. You usually have some pickled peppers and maybe egg and I don't know, some green stuff. It's fine. It's good. But that's what I would eat nonstop. And because it's not the healthiest thing, I only eat that once in the morning, and that's it. No. And we only make it once or twice a year, so it's okay. If it were my choice, I'd have it every weekend, but it takes a lot of time to make it because everything needs to be boiled and then cut into small cubes and then mixed together. Oh my God, I would not do that for myself ever, but I eat it when other people make it.
One thing I really associate with Christmas in England was marzipan, because we used to have marzipan sweets, like all painted to look like little apples and pears and things, plus marzipan layer under the fondant on the Christmas cake. And marzipan everywhere, like chocolate-coated marzipan. We borrowed that one from places like Prague and Germany. And
the chocolate marzipan is the best thing ever.
Even just to find marzipan here, like you're lucky if the shop's got one brand available, like on the shelf. And some shops don't have it any. And it's been so hard to find. And there was one year I went looking around and I left it till fairly late. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just pick up the marzipan. And could I find marzipan? I had to go to like 4 shops to find marzipan. And even just explaining to someone what it was, a few people would like look at me like, what on earth is that? It's just not as popular here, but I have to say I have managed to find a recipe to make this year that does include marzipan, because you can't have Christmas without some marzipan.
I'm crazy about marzipan, and most of it is through Germany. It's not exactly a Christmas thing here because we didn't have things like that available at Christmas. Like, I mean, you get your oranges, you maybe have sugar to bake your own kozonak, which is the panettone. And that's it, because communism. But after that, I did start to enjoy it a lot, but it still wasn't a big thing until stores like Lidl and other German brands came in, because they have it in the store. Because you can find it everywhere at any point in time in Germany. And it was the same in the Netherlands. I mean, you can get these chocolate-coated huge pieces of marzipan. That were kind of dirt cheap compared to how much they're here, and I always loved those and ate my heart's content. Because in the rest of the stores, you'll find like Mozart candy.
Oh yeah, Mozart Kugeln. Yeah.
Which Mozarts are great. They're not that great, and they're a lot expensive, like super expensive here, because they're imported, obviously. And I don't think they're worth it. I've had better brands of marzipan chocolate. Like, sorry. If I'm really craving it and I can't find anything, I'll buy a pack. But it's tiny. You get 9 pieces, and it feels like such a waste because it's not my favorite.
The only thing you always have to do with marzipan is not read the sugar content percentage. As long as you don't look at the label on the back of how much of it is actually like 80% sugar, then you're fine.
No, the worst thing you can do around Christmas is to check the calories.
Is read the labels, yes.
I mean, even for the things you make at home with no added sugar or anything, I mean, I think you can console yourself with the fact that they're high protein and low carb, which is good. But the amounts you eat, if you start counting calories, you'll go insane. Or I don't know, think the sugar amount for kozonak, because I mean the dough has sugar in it, the filling has sugar in it, and sometimes there's sugar sprinkled on top of it. Not as bad as marzipan, but close enough. Close enough. It's fine. Oh, Jesus. And that is why a lot of people's Christmas or New Year's resolution is to start eating healthy, because Christmas happened. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I think we've made everyone hungry by this point. So,
yes.
Do you want to talk about your reading challenge for next year a bit? And then we'll go into more announcements, because I'm really excited about that one.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Yes. So Alina will pop a little link up for you. I am actually doing a reading challenge for next year. And I've never really done one before. I always do my Goodreads count of how many books I want to read. But I suddenly thought this year I'm going to create a reading challenge, and everyone's welcome to join in. There are 25 categories. But if you're a slow reader, you don't have to let that worry you, because some books might satisfy more than one category.
Yeah.
So it's not too big a trial, hopefully, for most people, no matter how fast or slow you read. There's a bit of a mix of categories. All the information is on my blog, which Alina will share the link to, and there's a little link to a YouTube video. Perfect. Of me talking about it too. And Alina has kindly agreed to participate, as well as a few other people have sent me messages saying they're going to take part. There's a hashtag for it. So I hope a few of you will join us with that, and we will talk about that during next year, of course, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit more in our January live stream as we sort of kick it off. And of course, I'll be updating on my channel with all my end of the month reads if I happen to have crossed any more off as we go. So yes, that one's that. So if you've got any questions, feel free to drop me a line. My Twitter handle's in the post and that, so I'm happy to answer anything on that.
Quick question, because you're always so organized. Do you already have a reading list for this?
No, I haven't. I'm actually gonna just. I've already read over 200 books this year, so the chance of me not finding books that fit the categories during next year is pretty slim. So it will just be as I get new books, I'll glance at the categories and tick them off. I mean, what I haven't mentioned to anyone yet, that apart from my husband, that I am doing as well. I'm not sort of doing it in an official way like this one, but I'm also doing a reading challenge next year. But not only next year, because it will take a lot longer. I want to read a book written by an author who was born in every country of the world.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I've made a list. It goes over about 6 pages in my bullet journal of all the countries.
Oh, nice.
And I've already put in ones that where I've read one. So my entry for Romania is Alina. So obviously Europe is looking pretty damn healthy. I mean, there's a few gaps.
Can you like send the list, like put it in a file and send it to me? Because I would like to do that as well.
I'll take some snaps and I'll show you. And Europe's looking great. Asia, Middle East, and Americas, including sort of South America and that, they've all got a few. My big glaring gaping gap is Africa. Yeah. So that's one I'm going to have to particularly look out for. And I'm not expecting to finish this in 2019. I'm expecting it to be an ongoing project, but I'm hoping that each year I'll tick a few more off, and I'll particularly look out for ones. Yeah. My
question is, do we count Antarctica and wait for the what do you call it? The penguins to become sentient and rightful?
I haven't included Antarctica. I have included, though, 2 territories where I felt that they did have their own culture enough that it wanted it, which was Greenland. And I actually had read one from Greenland. So that one was already done. And also Puerto Rico, I thought was worth keeping separate.
I already have books from
Katie,
who's on YouTube, and he's Puerto Rican. So that's great.
There you go.
I mean, that was on the list anyway, so.
So I'm hoping that over the years, I'm going to try and cross a few off each year. It's not going to be done in 12 months, but that's going to be a little ongoing challenge for me. And particularly, I do want to look at the Africa area, because obviously that's a big gaping hole for me. So I want to try and read at least 1 or 2 from some African countries in 2019. So yes, those are the challenges. And Alina's put the link up to that sort of more official one. And that'll be what I'm up to next year for reading, hopefully.
Yeah, and awesome.
Yeah, and Alina and I will talk a bit more about this in our January stream, but we are going to be doing a few read-alongs next year where we read some books together and then discuss them in our streams. So that's something to look forward to too.
And we will go through the genres we've discussed during this year and pick books from each of those genres, and also do the more traditional genre talk streams where we talk about genres, trends, and some genres we kind of missed, mainly nonfiction and graphic novels, and maybe we'll do a bit on interactive fiction as well, like visual novels and things like that, narrative-based games, and discuss more, because those are closer to fiction than to gaming in a way. They're really story-driven and character-driven, so I think it warrants a conversation. But yeah, we're doing the read-along, and it will probably be every 2 months. So for next year, the first book will announce in January. So you have time all the way to February to read it and maybe join us in the live discussion. And that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we enjoy all the books.
Yes. I mean, because we've only sort of been talking about this fairly recently. But I mean, what Alina and I might do is, as we get into the beginning of next year, we might try to plan a few of them ahead a little bit as well, to give you guys time to get hold of books and things. The first one will be a little bit more last minute, just because we've only just decided to do this, but we will try to get a little bit of a list ahead of time for you.
Sorry, I will mute myself for a second because sorry.
That's okay. So while Alina's gone, I will tell you a bit about my latest release for the Christmas story that I've just got out. So it's called Barbies and Beaches, and it's part of Dream Spinner Press's Advent Calendar, which, if you got the subscription, will be one of the stories you get during the month of December. Because if you join their subscription, you get a story one day, each day delivered to you during the month. If you didn't, you can still buy it as a single ebook. And the theme for this year was stories that are set in places where Christmas isn't a hot climate. So, of course, I went for a story set here in Australia, and it's about a guy who's going to his friend's barbecue on Boxing Day, which is an annual event. He's not really looking forward to it because he recently got divorced, and all his friends want to do is talk about that and what's going on with him and his ex-wife. When he's there, though, he meets Neil, who's the cousin of the host, and Neil is from England, and he is in Australia. He's thinking about moving there, but he's not coping very well with the Australian heat. So he and Shane end up going off together to a secluded beach where naturally romance ensues. So that is my little Christmas story, and I'll get Alina in a second to pop a little link up for you for that in the comments as well.
I have it open, so I'll do that right now.
Perfect. So yes, so that's my little news story. It just came out yesterday. So most places it's available already. It's available from DSP, Amazon, Kobo. I don't have a Barnes & Noble link for it yet, but that should be coming. So I will be adding that to the post in the next couple of days as soon as it goes up.
Yeah, they're a bit slow at this time of the year.
Yeah. So what about your releases, Alina?
So like I said, I had 3 releases planned for this month. The first one is going to be tomorrow, hopefully, if nothing goes horribly wrong. It's Don't Call Me Kid. It's the first book in the Just Don't series. It's a gay contemporary romance, and this is going to have a rapid release, which is why the second book, Don't Underestimate Me, which is my Christmas release, is going to be out on December 12th. And there should be a pre-order link when the first book is out. So you can get them both before Christmas. And then the third one of December will be a New Year's book. It will be out on December 28th. And it's called Don't Push Me Away. It's the third book in the series, and the fourth one will be out next year. But I think that covers it. 3 books for me this month, which should compensate for the months of nothing. Of the broken leg adventures. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those. There should be a lot of content on my YouTube channel as well, this one and the art one. I've been working hard on those. I have to do 2 more voiceovers for the videos for today, because I kind of ran late with those. And yeah, I'm also in the middle of it. It's for book 2, so I hate myself, in short. That's the conclusion of this all. I hate myself and always have too much on my plate, which is why I hope next year I'll be a lot more organized and be more like Nicki. I would like to say I did already prep my yearly spreads for next year. I only have a couple, well, a few, let's say 3 or 4 maybe. Not as many as you have, but they are heavily inspired by Nicki's videos, so you should check her bullet journal videos. I found them really helpful. And the only reason I did that was because I thought I should, be more prepared. I mean, I can't be prepared in June for next year. That's never going to be me, because I lack the skills, basically. But you know, I could be ready like a week or a month and some in advance, which is really comforting, to be honest. It helps a lot.
We just won't mention that I've already written and scheduled all my major blog posts for next year. 3 a month for the whole of the year. Obviously not including book reviews and things like that as I get to them, but my little series of posts are already all done.
I felt better about myself for like 5 seconds. And then I was, no, I totally failed that.
But the only downside is I obviously can't respond to any of-the-minute things because I'm all planned out. But
yeah, but you can always add some more.
You can always swap some around, yeah. But mainly because I don't know what I'm doing next year work-wise yet, so I kind of wanted to be even more organized than usual, just so I know that I've got something happening. But
yeah, well, hi there to the new people in the chat. And no, there aren't going to be any talks about the atmospheric layers. I think you shouldn't choose a book and writing channel for that. Maybe go for a science one that deals particularly with the environment and the atmosphere and Earth physics in general. I can't help you there. I lack the skills, and I do not like to talk about things I have no idea about. I mean, I have a basic understanding of it, but not enough to preach to other people about it. Not that I usually preach, but I feel I'd be preaching. Like it would be completely me selling snake oil to people if I talked about things I do not intimately know. But yeah, thanks for stopping by and boosting my viewer count.
And hopefully you find what you need.
Yeah, I hope you find what you need. I've not run into such a channel. I can only recommend channels on science and sci-fi topics, and that's Isaac Arthur, which is a god, by the way. He needs an altar. He's absolutely awesome. Like any science fiction research you need, you can start there and then have enough to know what else you need to figure out. He's absolutely awesome. And the other interesting stuff I know is about medieval gas cells. So it's cold. It's freaking cold outside. It's freezing. I don't want to go outside, so sorry. We promoted stuff. Should we announce the next genre talk?
Yes. Yep. You go ahead.
No, because we haven't decided on that on the date, but it will be in early January, most probably.
Yes, and it's going to be a kind of introduction to our sort of new year of posts in a way, where we're going to talk a bit about trends in general, genre trends in general. Talking about our reading challenges, talking about what we're going to be doing for these read-alongs as well. Yeah,
and what we're planning on writing, what genres we're tackling in the new year, what trends we've seen emerging or dying out, what we've learned in a year of publishing and things like that. It will be a more general conversation, but I hope you tune in and maybe share your own input and your experience, because that's always helpful. And that's it for now. Thank you for hanging out with us. You can find Nicki's links in the description down below. If you've missed the links in the chat, I linked to her channel and the book challenge, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see that. Yeah, I did. So, no, I didn't. I'm an idiot. I was going to add that link as well. I didn't, but I will add it to the description as well in case the chat acts up and you can't see the links. You do have a link to her channel, like I said, and her cooking blog, which I think you should check out anyway because it's wonderful.
Yes, funny. I'm not doing it too much longer, that one. It's just to sort of start me off on my cooking journey. But I will be doing, as I was talking about our Christmas baking earlier, I will be doing a special post during later part of December on what I've been doing for Christmas baking. So if that interests you, that will be on that blog in a few weeks.
I want to see that. I definitely want to see that. So all relevant links are in the description. I will add this to the genre talk playlist. Sorry. I was about to sneeze. I didn't. Great. If you've missed all the other Genre Talk live streams, I suggest you go through them. I think they were fun and filled with a lot of interesting conversations and ideas and topics. So hope you've enjoyed this year with us, and you'll be here next year, because, I mean, we're having fun and we're going to keep on doing this, but we kind of appreciate the audience as well. Although this is an incredible inconvenient hour for anyone who's not in our part of the world.
Because we kind of have to make a time when we're both up.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's 9:30 at night for me now.
Yeah, and it's 1 p.m. for me. So
yeah. So I think it's mostly the Americans that are snoozing at the moment.
Yeah, and most of Western Europe at the beginning of the stream, because let's say it's Sunday. If you don't get a lazy Sunday, then you're me probably. I woke up at 7:30. Thank you. Okay, then have a nice Sunday for the rest of it, and have a lovely week.
Have good holidays and a good end to the year.
Oh, yeah,
so we'll see you by the time we next see you. It will be 2019.
Wow, yeah. Jesus, where did this year go? Never mind. Let's get over my panic moment. Enjoy your holidays, everyone. And if you have any questions or suggestions for next year, drop them in the comments. We always check them. So yeah, next month, by the way, I forgot to say this, next stream will be on Nicki's channel. So make sure you subscribe to her to see the notification for that. Okay, that's it for now. Bye.
Perfect. Bye, everyone.